Hello and welcome to Founders Amplified, where we spotlight underrepresented founders who are driving innovation and impact across various industries and sectors across the globe. I'm your host, Narayan Kulkarni, and I'm excited to be here with you today. In today's audio-only episode 0, I'll be sharing the why and concept behind this Founders Amplified podcast, what you might hear in each episode, and how you can get involved. So, now that you know a little bit about what to expect, let's dive right in. My name is Narayan Kulkarni. I use he, him pronouns, and as the founder and host of Founders Amplified, I'm glad to welcome you to episode 0, the very first of this podcast. Before I continue, I just wanted you all to know that this will be a longer episode with sections and subsections. So to make it more fun and keep the energy up, I'll be playing this tune to transition between sections, and this shorter one to transition between subsections. We'll start with the shorter one as there's a subsection coming up now. Let me start by saying that Founders Amplified is rooted in 3 themes I've experienced throughout my life. The first is about my experiences related to being underrepresented. The second is about appreciating how other underrepresented people have amplified me. And the third is about learning from and helping others who are underrepresented. First, my experiences give me a nuanced perspective on how it feels to be underrepresented. As an Indian American, a person of color, and immigrant to the United States, I've often found myself navigating spaces where few people looked like me or saw the world like me, from classrooms to workplaces to community gatherings and more. Like many immigrants I know, I've felt the constant pressure to make adjustments to how I show up to fit in. From adjusting how I say my first name from Narayan to Narayan to make it accessible to English-speaking audiences, to not talking publicly about Indian foods I like, such as pav bhaji, out of fear of it being labeled as weird, and more. Even with such efforts, I faced both direct and indirect mistreatment in many spaces, which taught me that being underrepresented can make someone feel dejected, disconnected, and hopeless. At the same time, I noticed that my privileged identities, such as being heterosexual and male, helped me feel a sense of confidence and empowerment when seeing successful people holding similar identities, such as figures like Dalip Singh Saund, Dr. Sanjay Gupta, and Mahatma Gandhi. But these privileged identities also made me feel guilty due to having unearned benefits. For example, being free of social stigma and legal consequences if choosing to marry someone that I love. And it also alarmed me to know that those who hold privileged identities like mine and blindly follow the status quo without empathy, mindfulness, and responsibility can cause significant individual and collective harm. For example, it was uncomfortable to learn at an Asian American Issues Conference in undergrad that South Asian men perpetrate high rates of intimate partner violence. Experiences like these helped me see that people often hold a combination of privileged and marginalized identities, some of which are well represented and others of which are not. They've shown me that some strategic choices to adjust how one shows up, such as pronouncing my name by default as Narayan Kulkarni in most English-speaking contexts, but encouraging those who are able to pronounce it more closely to the actual pronunciation of Narayan Kulkarni, can build confidence in one's adaptability and widen trust with others, so long as those choices are personal and are done not to diminish oneself, but to welcome connection. They've helped me see that a more mindful approach to representation is needed, not just about being heard, understood, and valued for your full self, but actively understanding ways in which you might intentionally or unintentionally create harm in others, and mindfully using your power and voice to elevate both yourself and others who are underrepresented. Second, underrepresented people across the world have enabled me to develop the voice I have today and inspire me to pay that forward. From my Indian American mom and sister, both doctors in male-dominated specialties, who challenged me to grow personally and professionally, to the female surgeon who provided me with my first internship, to the Latino IT professional and veteran who gave me my first glimpse into intrapreneurship or creating change from within organizations, to the female health administrators who accepted me into my first paid role, to the South and Southeast Asian women who enabled me to join my first mentoring role, to the Black British man who allowed me to support work to diversify nonprofit boards in the UK, to the Colombian and Brazilian women who invited me to support Latin American youth in a multilingual mentoring community, to the Argentine Australian immigrant and program manager who welcomed me into a unique social impact fellowship, to the Indian South African man who enabled me to join my first advising role for startups, and many more. Amazing people from underrepresented groups all around the world have played key roles in shaping who I am today. I feel so blessed because of how they've helped me, and that makes me so motivated to pay it forward by amplifying other underrepresented people across the world. Third, seeing and helping others who are underrepresented has shown me the value of being someone who amplifies others. Because of my relationships with the concept of being underrepresented, and because of how other underrepresented people have helped me, I've actively sought opportunities to not only make my voice heard, but also use it to help others. From participating in global events to providing words of wisdom in one-on-one conversations with mentees around the world, to much more, I've learned that every time one shares one story, one accelerates both individual transformation and collective healing. From my own experiences related to intrapreneurship, like crafting diversity-related presentations for a UK-based group, to developing internship programs in a US-based organization, to implementing virtual volunteer gatherings for an Italy-based public safety startup, I've learned a little bit about the immense courage and loneliness that comes with a founder's journey, and that there is an even higher emotional burden, imposter syndrome, lack of funding, and relational support that underrepresented individuals have to face on that path. Having supported hundreds of underrepresented people on 6 continents, from girls interested in entrepreneurship and STEM careers, to university students, to early career professionals, to impact-driven founders, I've learned that everyone has a precious and a powerful story within them, wherever they might be in their journey. And I've seen countless times how even one conversation, one positive message, one piece of supportive feedback, one shared resource, or one investment in someone's potential can ripple outward and change lives. The more I've listened and learned, the more I've realized how many truly incredible, visionary people there are who are innovating and making an impact, but without the spotlight and support that they deserve. That's why I created this podcast and why the concept behind it is Founders Amplified. This podcast is about recognizing that there are amazing founders who are building powerful, innovative, and purposeful solutions, yet often go unseen simply because of where they come from, who they are, or how they show up. Founders Amplified is about centering those founders in a way that lets the world be inspired not only by what they do, but more importantly, by who they are. It's about understanding that each one of us is using our voices to do a uniquely impactful piece of work. And by turning up the volume on those voices and creating space to highlight the perspectives of those voices on superpowers like identity and innovation, we harmonize together to create the diverse, deeply human, and magnificent symphony that is our world. So, now that you know more about my why for this podcast, let me tell you about how it might be different from others you've heard. There are plenty of podcasts out there with interviews that spotlight founders and their work, but Founders Amplified is unique in many ways. Let me elaborate on 3 of them. First, we take an inclusive approach to who can be a guest on our show. Many people associate the word founder with the creator of a for-profit startup, a man, someone born and raised in the same industrialized country, a wealthy person, an established authority in a field, and or someone who is producing work in a lucrative or trending space like B2B SaaS. Founders Amplified focuses on the voices of people who are outside of at least one of those parameters and who are often left out of conversations. For example, we welcome founders of any kind of initiative, whether it is a for-profit, nonprofit, consultancy, program, or other venture. We welcome intrapreneurs, recognizing that meaningful change can occur by initiating regeneration from within institutions. We welcome women, gender non-binary individuals, and those identifying anywhere within and outside the LGBTQ+ spectrum. We welcome people from indigenous communities. We welcome people who identify with one or more racial and ethnic groups. We welcome people from any country around the world and those moving across countries, such as expatriates, migrants, and refugees. We welcome new founders, founders across ages and stages, and both new and experienced podcast guests. We welcome people of all abilities. We welcome people operating in any industry, location, space, or sector. We recognize and welcome that incredible innovation, impact, and wisdom can come from anyone, anywhere. We recognize that the words founder, underrepresented, innovation, and impact can mean different things in different contexts, and so we welcome any guest who self-identifies with those 4 words. In this way, we expand the scope of a conventional podcast for founders and balance this with our aim of amplifying underrepresented people driving innovation and impact. Second, we explore a unique mix of topics in one episode. Many podcasts featuring founders discuss the founder and organization journey, facts about the founder's organization or area of expertise, the founder's best practices to grow and operate organizations, trends in their industry or sector, and lessons learned or advice from other founders. At Founders Amplified, we value and include these topics while also believing that more emphasis is needed on the founder's story and the impact they are making on the world. So while we do ask about the innovative work the founder is doing and lessons they've learned, we balance this with questions about the founder's identity and the broader impact they are making. We believe that this adds a level of reflectiveness and intentionality that highlights the founder differently and enhances the depth of the discussion in each episode. Thirdly, we emphasize different emotions in this podcast. Many podcasts about founders emphasize action, speed, intensity, and boldness, not just through the topics and contributions of speakers, but also through stylistic choices like the episode music, the tone and wording of questions, and the pacing of episodes. At Founders Amplified, we value such emotions and emphasize additional ones to create a richer episode. We choose music that is fun, inspiring, melodic, relaxing, and uplifting to invite both audience members and guests to have an enjoyable experience. We express appreciation for the founder regularly to cultivate a supportive space and invite more thoughtful discussion. And through our selection of guests and our conclusion, we emphasize community and connection to shape a space that aims to amplify each founder and that founder's community, as well as those listening to the podcast. We believe that emphasizing these emotions in these ways initiates a powerful ripple effect that not only amplifies the founder and their community, but also moves listeners to amplify the underrepresented, the innovative, and the impactful in a way that makes sense for them. These are just 3 things that make this podcast unique. Next, let me talk about what you'll probably hear in each episode. You can expect at least 1 episode a week featuring conversations in English with amazing guests around the world. Each episode is around 30 minutes long and opens a window into the story of an underrepresented founder, someone who's shaping the world in ways you may not have seen or heard before. You might hear from founders creating a fintech startup, a nonprofit focused on empowering women in tech, a consultancy providing bespoke support to marginalized groups, an entrepreneur piloting a game-changing international development program, and maybe even 1 or 2 who drafted their idea for the first time on a paper napkin with rainbows and unicorns. Who knows? Whenever possible, we'll share conversations with the founder on video too, because seeing their energy, expression, and joy can further amplify their message beyond just hearing their voice. We'll usually begin each episode with a brief bio of our guest and learn about what sparked their founder journey, and let the conversation unfold from there. We'll explore the role that identity plays in their work, how their work is innovative, the impact they're enabling, and any lessons they've learned. Each episode will end with their answer to a signature question, a reflection on what amplifying means to them. You will likely hear variations in the order of topics covered, specific questions asked, and emphasis of a particular topic, since each founder brings their unique perspective and story. Whether you're a fellow founder, an aspiring changemaker, or someone curious about how underrepresented people build meaningful work, these conversations will leave you with thought-provoking insights and energy to amplify those around you in your own way. We'll share new episodes on Spotify and our Founders Amplified LinkedIn page, and we're exploring other platforms too. Stay tuned. If you like what you've heard so far, there are so many ways you can be part of this journey. Let me tell you about a few of them. If you hear an ask from the founder that you can support, like making an angel investment, becoming a client, connecting them with a corporate partner for a pilot, or something else, or if you can connect them to someone who can support them, please get in touch with them using the info they've given in the show notes and tell them that you heard about them from the Founders Amplified podcast. You never know. Your message could be the spark that transforms their journey. If you are a founder and want to be featured in this podcast, or if you know a founder that would be a great fit, send a direct message or DM to the Founders Amplified LinkedIn page. You'll also find this in the show notes. If you have any feedback or suggestions that you'd like to share with me directly, please also DM the Founders Amplified page on LinkedIn. I'm very human and a work in progress, and I'm always open to feedback and exploring ways to make this podcast better for everyone. And depending on how this podcast grows in the future, there may be even more ways to stay in the loop, like special spotlights or bonus episodes. Follow us so you don't miss out on the action. And finally, if you made it this far, I just want to say a huge thank you for the gift of your time and presence during this detailed and introspective deep dive. If there's something that really resonated, it would be amazing to know what that is. And if you feel like this could help someone else, it'd be wonderful if you could share it with specific people you know or rate this episode so more people in general can come across it. You can expect to see our first episode launching very soon. But for now, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day or night, depending on where you are in the world, and I wish for the highest amplification of the greatness within you in a way that brings out the best in everyone in our planet. Bye for now. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Founders Amplified. If you enjoyed this episode, please give us a rating, share it with someone you know, and follow us for more inspiring episodes like this one. If you're a founder who is driving innovation and impact in any industry or sector anywhere in the world and would like to be a guest, we'd love to hear from you. Check out the show notes for more information. And finally, remember that you, yes, you, have the power to amplify the voices around you. Whether you're a colleague, family member, friend, funder, mentor, or just another fellow human, your support matters. So I invite you to celebrate and uplift the underrepresented innovators in your life who are driving innovation and impact. Let's create a better future for everyone, together. Until next time, stay curious, stay bold, and keep amplifying.